Hello traders, welcome to this live FXDD webinar with me, Chris Svorcik from Elite Currency, taking a look at what to expect on this last day of October, going into a new month tomorrow, Friday as well. So that's going to be maybe some volatility there on Friday, last day of the month as well, usually. And of course, we have new monthly candles to look at tomorrow. That's always gives some information at least about the long term, specifically the candle itself. Do we have any wicks? Selling, buying pressure? Do we have strong candle closes? Do we have a large candle regarding volatility? So that's always gives some useful information, and never hurts to take a look at that as well. But that's tomorrow. We still have a few hours left. Before we take a look at the markets, though, this risk disclaimer, of course, explains the fact that trading for exchange and global financial markets is considered high risk and may not be suitable for everyone. Please seek the advice of an independent financial advisor for more information on that. And that this webinar is for informational and educational purposes only. For those that are live in the webinar right now, you already know these links. But if you're looking at the recording, then this is how you can join live. Typically Tuesdays and Thursdays, often. And of course, if you're not subscribed to the FXDD YouTube channel, that's always wise to do, because then you'll get all the updates about video analysis from Nennet and myself, and also recorded webinars. All right. Excuse me. Let's take a look at the charts now. Time to move on. And let me share the screens, the MT4 here. And let's start off with the euro dollar. There we go. All right. So getting a retracement, pretty steep retracement. But that said, it is the last day of the month. So that does, from my point of view, the steepness is a little bit discounted or a little bit less important due to that fact. Okay, if we look at the current monthly candle, let me take away these trend lines. All right, for the moment, even though we're getting a retracement, generally speaking, it's looking bullish. So tomorrow, of course, we'll get the confirmation of that. But so far, the candle is the close is quite near the high. It's engulfing the bearish candle of last month, and if it closes anywhere above last month's high at 111, that would typically be a bullish scenario. So I'm so far at this moment looking at this as a bullish thing. And if we look at the weekly chart, I see 3 candles up with increasing kind of speed. So if it would be 3 bullish candles and the last candle would be the smallest and the weakest, that would actually be a reversal signal. But this is the strongest with the close right near the high. So far, I see this as a bullish formation against the trend, and I would expect price to basically move up here to 113 zone like this as a zigzag or as a wave 5 for the moment. So this is another confirmation of bullishness. I think these 3 candles. Now, it is fighting against 21 EMA. That's not easy necessarily. And as you can see, it did bounce off the 144 EMA. 144 EMA on the daily chart is the 21 EMA on the weekly chart. But we got to bounce at the 21 EMA on the daily chart as well. So if I put a fib from here to here, it is looking like this is a 50 fib bounce, and therefore could be a wave 4. And I think for the moment that this is just a retracement for more upside. So a little bit of maybe profit taking, but ultimately I think that this is more of a retracement. Now, I could be wrong, of course, and if it breaks through this 110.75, then a bigger retracement is going on, and I'll put a fib from here to here, and there could be a bigger push down, maybe to the 78.6 fib at 109.40 eventually. So if it breaks to 110.75, I would probably look for a break, pullback, and continuation. I don't expect it for the moment, because I see this as bullish, but that's if it breaks to that bottom. So at this moment, I see this as a pullback. Now, let's see. 4 hour was bearish engulfing twins here, so we're getting some follow through to the downside for the moment on that. And of course, yesterday's interest rate decision ultimately sent it higher. Some small move down, but big wick and a continuation higher, just wasn't able to break the previous stop. I think for the moment that this is a pullback. Now, if a trader is doubting about that, it Can never hurt, of course, to keep an eye on candlestick patterns that indicate a bounce. Now, this is a little bit of a wick, but not too much. So I don't think that really qualifies. So wherever this momentum stops, what will typically happen is some candlestick pattern will indicate the end of this upside. That could be a good way to enter a upside trade upon the kind of confirmation that price is bouncing, or wait for a candlestick pattern to confirm it, then wait for a little bit of a bounce, wait for a pullback, and trade the higher low like that. If it does break through 111 zone here, then today is Thursday, so we get one more trading day left in this week at least. Let's take a look at this weekly candle. Yeah, okay. So let's see. But I would expect a bounce, pullback, and continuation at least to retest these highs. And I wouldn't be surprised if this week's weekly candle ends up somewhere around these highs. Then next week, beginning of next week, probably I would expect the price, or somewhere next week, I would expect price to push up. So let's see. I think for the moment, though, that if price breaks through 111, that would worry me as a bull a little bit. But then still, I think that even if it breaks through 111, there's a fair chance that price will bounce in this support zone. Hang on. Here as well. That's also another support zone. So got two areas where price might bounce. I would therefore definitely put the stop loss below these lows and not this, because it could break through that. Okay. Does anyone else have problems with the webinar at the moment? Like Anand is saying? Is the sound and the sound and the sound and the picture, the image okay? Let me write quickly. All right, so that's that. Let's see if this is a retracement or not. Of course, the bounce at the double top could lead to a retest of the bottom. That's why, as I said, I will have the stop loss below 110.75. But I think personally still a very good chance that it will bounce at the 144 in May and continue with the uptrend. Pound dollar has made a good move to the upside. This is something I've been trading to the upside already. Then at 2, and it was a slow break, but eventually it did break to the upside here, this trend continuation. That's not surprising because ultimately 4-hour chart was very strong momentum. This was a bull flag correction and price broke above the 20 EMA again. So we're looking at a follow through. Now it bounced at the R1. That's not so surprising because that's very close to the 130 round level. So we are seeing some stronger retracement at this moment. With the pound specifically, I don't know. It's a little bit at a tough spot. It bounced at 130. It could bounce again around 129. 129.25 here. It could be another support zone. We have broken tops. But it's a tricky spot. It's not as clear, in my view, as maybe the euro dollar is. I think this zone should hold, and typically I would expect a bounce somewhere around this 129.25, 129, and I wouldn't expect price necessarily to break below that in one shot at least. And I would expect price to use that level to make a move up to test 130 again. So here too, I'm bullish. If price breaks above 130, then it has space up to 132, 132.50. So here too, I think potential upside buys possible, but putting the stop loss below that. There is another support zone, of course, all the way down at 128. Logically, this zone right here, we can put a trend line on the chart as well, connecting these bottoms. All of that is support, basically, like that. And this could easily be a pullback. Okay, now the positions I have personally from the pound dollar, I have a trail stop loss below this fractal. So I'm hoping that that will provide a bouncing spot here for a continuation higher. So let's see if that's true. I think a retest of these highs is still likely. One more retest is still likely. Dollar yen totally flipped around here. We were in uptrend with ECS Live, Nenet, and myself. We're both in buys from this zone, and it did make a higher high and made one more higher high. Missed my target, I guess, by 20 pips or so, and ultimately made profit, not as much as I hoped for. I took profit at 108.85 or so, and the other part at 108.74. So some small profit there, not as much. I hoped it would go to 109.40-ish. It didn't. Stopped at 109.20, 30-ish, 27 or so. And then big wick and big fall with the big bearish candles pushing through 143 May. However, 143 May, roughly speaking, is typically a bouncing spot. So this is looking bearish now. The uptrend is over. This is looking like reversal, definitely. But I think there could be a retracement up before we get a bigger reversal. So this looks like 5 waves up for the moment, perhaps. But in any case, now looking pretty bearish, I think. On the 4-hour chart, yeah, there's too much momentum to the downside. I think a continuation lower is likely. And I think that I'm not sure if we will get a retracement, but a move back into the S1 here, like that, would be nice. Somewhere around this zone, 108.30, 108.40. I would like to see price go into that zone and bounce off that level. One more retracement into the 21 EMA. That's where I would be looking for shorts personally, if I were, when trading reversals. If I would trade the dollar yen now, the target would be probably S3 at 107.50, and I don't think it would break above this candle, 4-hour candle high at 108.60. Okay, so I think that, and this is the target, 107.50. So move up, bounce, and continuation, and it shouldn't break above that level. That's my view on dollar yen for the moment. Once it gets there at 107.50, we'll have to see. This could be 5 waves up. Let me put a fib from here to here. You see, this could be a bouncing spot. It's the 23.6 fib. So that could be a small minor bounce, and I would expect it to go to 107.50, which is also the 38.2 fib of the entire fib, from the entire bottom to the entire, from the low to the high. So it could easily go to the 38, if not down even to the 50. But the 38 will be, I think, the first target to think about. Now, pound yen is a little bit, it was moving up, not bad. Managed to catch some pips on this with ECS Live here. Made some 100 pips to the upside. Ultimately, quite small move for the pound yen. Not bad. 100 pips is 100 pips, but for pound yen, it's small, and it all the time was kind of crawling, along this 21 EMA. So really not much momentum. So, and now it's moving lower. Dollar yen is dragging this also lower, and yes, it probably will retrace deeper now, I think. This was good momentum to this upside here. And this was looking like a consolidation zone. So there's still the chance for upside, but not at the moment. I would wait rather than look for upside at this moment. Eventually, yes. Eventually, yes, but could easily be a bull flag, of course. But even if it's a bull flag, then there seems to be space to the bottom of that flag at around, and that's of course not very precise, but around 138.50 could be the bull flag support zone plus minus. And that could easily be a bouncing spot. Could be interesting to look for a bounce there, and eventually that flag could break to the upside. Okay. Good momentum to the upside. 138.50 is not even at the 143 MA on the 4-hour chart. So even if it goes to that level, still easily aligned to the upside. Okay, so, but I like the dollar yen more personally. I like the dollar yen more. This is still, it is some type of channel at this moment on the hourly chart like this. And it's at support. Now, if it breaks that channel, there is that fall down to the 138.50. If it breaks to the weekly pivot point, as I said, to the 143 MA, this is a break or bounce spot decision zone at this moment. If it does break, there is that space. I would probably rather trade the dollar yen or the CAD yen. I'll take a look at that in a second. But pound yen could easily bounce to the bottom of this bull flag if it breaks this channel, this blue channel. Excuse me. All right. Euro yen. Didn't like the euro yen because of the fact that price didn't at 121.50 wasn't able to break through a key resistance level. For those that know, WIS 8, that's a Fibonacci sequence level. It bounced right at that, so didn't like it, and indeed double top, moving lower. But it also could bounce around 120, for instance. So not much space down, left to the downside. I wouldn't trade that. Euro pound going sideways for the moment. Dollar Swiss franc does not look that interesting to me at this moment. Oh, hang on, wrong template. Sorry about that. Looks more like it could bounce off support, but I don't know. It's not a big fan of the dollar Swiss at the moment. Let's move on. Dollar CAD is bouncing at the 88.6 fib and made a strong bounce off of that. So I think a continuation higher in the cards makes more sense to me. Bullish engulfing twins here for the moment on a weekly. Monthly, nothing special, but this is looking more bullish to me. Dollar CAD is tricky though. I probably would like to see it back at the 143 May. I know in that case that retracement has happened and it's not going to typically retrace deeper. So that would be good. Let's see. It's making some kind of falling wedge for the moment, but yeah, it's maybe if it breaks this falling wedge to the upside, but I would still rather see it at the 143 May and bounce at the R1 for upside. New Zealand dollar does not look that interesting to me. Let's get rid of this fib. So far, pretty bullish. Right at the previous top, not interested in that. I would be interested in the Australian dollar if there's a big sell-off here for downside. And if this is a pin bar, that could look interesting. And it is forming a pin bar at this moment. Now, of course, we don't know if it will hold, but if it does hold like this, so there's a big wick, number one, more than 2/3. If the candle close is near the low, at the moment, yes. And if the candle close is below the close of yesterday, so far, yes. Let's see at the end of the day, but if it's anything like that or better, that looks like an interesting bearish pin bar, and that could be a good reversal signal at the 143 May. And let's still realize that prices, generally speaking, I would say still a plus minus in the support zone, resistance zone, sorry. So that could easily be a bounce. Let's see. That is reversal, of course, always dangerous, but more dangerous, more risky. But that makes sense to me. Euro odd, not a big fan of the euro odd at this moment. It could be completing an ABC here, but it kind of broke through the minus 272 target actually. And with a lot of selling pressure here. If anything, it looks like it could fall to the minus 61.8 target actually. Looks more bearish to me at this moment, to be honest. And I think a continuation down to that minus 61.8 target, probably the most likely. We had a break of this trend line, pullback, and then another breakout here. It's retesting that level, actually, and that's where we had the sell-off. We had this break. And we're in a pretty nice downtrend channel even, like that. So it looks like there's space down to the bottom of that channel for the moment. Yeah, this is looking more bearish. I think that keeping an eye on this hourly chart, this pullback could find a rejection as it moves up for that move down to the minus 61.8 target. Euro New Zealand, I tried to trade it to the upside, that failed, and I was aiming for upside and this head and shoulders level here, this being the left shoulder, head, right shoulder, that failed. Ultimately, it didn't move up. And it looked good to the upside because it was making a actually it was making a ascending wedge pattern here, like that, but it didn't break to the upside. Unfortunately, it failed and moved to the downside. So don't see anything on the Euro New Zealand at this moment. If anything, also bearishness, just like the Euro actually at this moment. So push lower maybe to the minus 272 target. So if that's true, then maybe that Aussie reversal might not work too well. I want to keep an eye on that because obviously if I'm expecting if I expect euro dollar up, but euro AUD Indonesian down, then Australian dollar must move up even more. So when looking at all these three time frames, something doesn't add up. So either the euro dollar will not move as much as I think it will not move up as much I think as it does, or the euro AUD will make a bigger retracement, or the Australian dollar will ultimately not reverse. So let's see let's see if the AUD USD can print that pin bar first of all, and let's see if the euro AUD can make a bearish bounce here, and if euro dollar can show some kind of bullish candlestick patterns in the support zone. Pound AUD is looking bullish. What I like about the pound AUD is the bullish candlestick patterns here. Pretty good, strong candles for the moment. But I would need to see a push above WIS6 myself before trading it. But it could be close to a breakout, right? We got this trend line. It's just about to break, so it's very close. All right. So this looks good for upside from us. From my point of view, I would trade it maybe with the next candle break that could push through at 188 and the WIS6 level. Pound New Zealand does not appeal to me, so I'll skip that. CAD yen is looking bearish, very bearish, more bearish even than dollar yen perhaps, because the dollar CAD is moving up at the moment. So I think that looking at the hourly, let's see. I think a retracement up into 82.35 zone here. 82.40, the 50 fib or so, that would look good, I would say. But let's not underestimate this entire zone. That it could move into that zone too. 82.50 probably. Ish. Yeah. Let's put a fib from here to here. $82.40, $82.50, I would say. That could be the zone. And I would think that stop loss above 82.80 should be enough. Hope I'm not too ambitious here. And a target probably aiming at 81.70, 81.50 probably. Looks bearish to me. Other than that, S&P, no, this is Dow Jones, and A, B, C, D. E is very small, but it did break for a high. We are getting a retracement at this moment. Might have to do with some US politics that's going on at this moment on the 31st of October. I don't know, but there is getting some retracement here. Yeah, it did look bullish, but now not 100% sure. It is kind of, it was bullish, but this is starting to look a little bit like a rising wedge. And it didn't break through this top. So this could be the wave D. A, B, C, D, and down for E. It still looks bullish, but it could retest the lows again. So this trend line important. This fib important. And it could go down into the 61, 78.6 fib for support, I would say. Bitcoin. Moved up strongly. After retracing, it seems to have respected the minus 272 target. And if we put a fib on the entire upside, I think it went to the 61.8 fib indeed. Golden ratio, and seems to have completed A, B, C, and we got a bounce. So maybe uptrend has started. This looks like a bull flag to me. Uptrend continuation for the moment, I think likely. And if it breaks through this trend line, a bullish breakout, I think, is taking place. And it would be great if that happened this year, because this momentum is still ongoing, and this is just a correction. So if we get a continuation and a new high, if we get a new high this year, then uptrend continuation still on the table at this moment, and that would be nice, because if we don't get a continuation this year, then we might be in a big retracement territory. So I would like personally to see a higher high. And the fact that price bounced here with good momentum could indicate that this correction is over. The breakout could mean that price is going to re-challenge the previous high and maybe, I hope, go for a higher high. All right, gold, finally gold. As Anand was asking for earlier. So, yes, gold. Well, for those, maybe I think I shared with on FXDD the wave analysis I had for gold. Maybe you saw it there, but basically what I was thinking was that this is downside could complete the C. This is 5 waves up probably for a wave 1. So let me step back actually. So obviously we have an uptrend. That's probably clear for everyone that was following gold a little bit at least. We had upside, ABC, upside, and now this flag. So this looks like a wave 3 at this moment with a 1, 2, 3. So this looks like a kind of a smaller wave 4. This looks like a bull flag. There we go. After in an uptrend, strong uptrend, good momentum. This is a typical corrective flag, a wave 4 pattern. Within the wave 4 pattern, it seems like price has completed ABC. And after the ABC, we had 5 waves up. And then we are ABC. Within that ABC, we had A here, B here, and the C was falling yesterday, this week, with a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That seems completed at this moment. So good chance that this might be the uptrend restart. And so far, very, very strong 4-hour candles and good daily candles. And so far, weekly candle 2 and monthly candle okay. So from this perspective, I'm not sure if this is a wave 1 and down for wave 2. I would like to see some pullback still. The problem is I'm not sure if we're going to get that retracement, but we do have a pin bar last hour. So if we get some momentum going here down to the 38, then a bounce and some zigzag, it would be great if it went back into this 1490 zone, 1493, 1494, 1488. And that's where I would look for bullish bounces for trend continuation. But It depends on how price behaves. If I see a zigzag, then a deep retracement is likely. That's good. If there's a triangle, let's say price hits the 23.6 fib and it moves up, and it starts to make a triangle like that, then I would look for a triangle breakout. Or if it builds some bull flag, then I would look for the 38.2 fib as a bouncing spot, 1501 and a half. So it depends a little bit on the retracement. What kind of retracement do we get? Do we get a zigzag, deep retracement? Do we get a flag, 38.2 fib? If we get a triangle, 23.6 fib or the breakout. The flag, of course, could also be the breakout. So that's the main thing. If we don't get a retracement here, we just price continues to fly up, I don't know. That could happen too, I guess, but I wouldn't count on it necessarily because it's right at resistance. I would expect some reaction personally now, or even a little bit higher, but still some retracement I would expect. DAX still looking bullish, but might make a slightly retracement at this point. But ultimately, I think after the retrace, likely to find support and continue for another push up and another higher high, I would say, because this is looking pretty bullish. And that could go up easily to, I think, retest those resistance levels and those previous highs. Okay, that's my 2 cents, I guess. And that's it from my perspective. Hope that helps. And thanks for joining. I will be back next week, same time. No, a little bit earlier, 15 minutes earlier. Same day, just 15 minutes earlier, 3 p.m. GMT time. Thursday, probably, I guess, what is it? November 6th? No, sorry, I'm getting confused. November 7th. Here with FXDD, of course, check out those links to join the webinars live or the FXDD YouTube channel, of course, and please subscribe there to catch all of the videos and webinars. Wish everyone great trading, great trading days ahead. Let's take a look at those monthly candles tomorrow. Hopefully there's something interesting there, and good trading in November as well. All right, see you very soon. Cheers, bye-bye.